Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You are watching The Experiment, the LA edition. It's March 24th, 2026. We are 2 days away, less than 2 days away from opening day, Dodgers versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. What will be a momentous opening day. The second day, though, will actually be the grand game in terms of the Dodgers players and staff and coaches and managers. They will be getting the championship rings. And of course, every year, I think the championship rings get a little bit bigger and a little bit more gaudy. But this is the third one in 6 seasons. So I don't know how much more you can go because I saw the 2024 ring. That sucker was pretty big. I don't know if I'd be wearing something like that without security, man. That sucker was big, and the way they opened it up. So I don't know what they have next. But as true Dodger fans, and I'm going to get into this here because Dodger fans, Dodger fans get a lot of flack for being, well, Dodger fans, and rightfully so because they tend to be entitled children a lot of the cases, and I can't remember the last time I just can't remember the last time it was this bad in terms of the inability to understand what needs to get done right now before the season starts and what will likely play out as the season progresses. So I'll get into that. And of course, we're going to talk LA Laker basketball with some enthusiasm. I know last night they came up short there in the end. I thought again Luka didn't take a shot when he should have, and he ended up getting stuck at the corner there and couldn't get a clear shot at the basket. But they were leading with 39 seconds left. They just couldn't close it, and the game at the end there kind of made me realize how important Marcus Smart is. I think Marcus Smart being in that game might have been able to maybe clamp down on a couple guys towards the end there to make things a little bit more difficult because I thought there was a little bit of a layup line, a little bit of. I mean, there was some good shots made. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't like how their defense suffered there at the end, and they had come back from a 16-point deficit. So they were close. They were close. They were on the road. Cade Cunningham wasn't playing, but in the end, they're not quitting. They're playing their rear ends off. It's towards the end of the second to last road trip, the second to last really aggressive road trip for them. So they're not going to win every game, right? And they played their butts off and lost this one. I didn't see Dennis Jenkins doing what he did. I think had you had Marcus Smart, I think he might have been able to save some of those baskets and maybe they win. And this is what it comes down to, guys. It's health. I don't think it's an accident that the Lakers started playing really well once everyone got healthy and was available. And the second Rui was out, and I know Rui sometimes deflates himself in a lot of these games, but he's still there. He's still a talent. He's still a threat, even if he's not making shots on a consistent basis. And of course, Marcus Smart is a guy that is able to make timely, shots as well as play solid defense and has a energy that you can't really measure. So I didn't get a chance to see the entire game. I have it recorded. I was at the game last night, the Angels Dodgers game. My cousin asked me to go. He bought a box for the evening and invited me to go, and we had a great time. I know some of you guys saw it on my Instagram. I had the pleasure of being, and I wasn't even expecting this, by the way. I totally was caught by surprise and was excited. I think you can probably hear me in the background talking. Usually I don't do that. Timmy Trumpets came on the PA, and I went nuts. You might have not heard it, but you heard me talking while I was filming. And I'm not usually filming stuff when I'm on at the game. I'll do a little bit of an ambiance thing, post it on stuff, and then I usually just check my stuff when people are messaging me. But I went full fanboy on that one because I had no idea they were going to play Jimmy Trumpets, bringing in Edward Diaz. And my plan was to get there on Thursday or Friday for that. I didn't want to miss the first one. I know it's not the same as a regular season, but it was still Timmy Trumpets at Dodger Stadium. So I was like, yeah, look, I was here for the first one. I wasn't even expecting it. So it was kind of an entertaining game. If you subtract the fact that Roki, I think, got only one out of two sets of pitching, and I'm going to get into that Roki thing, and I'm going to get into the Hae-Sung Kim thing, as well as what's going on with the Tanner Scotts of the world too, because there's hilarious panic going on in the Dodger world fandom, and I'm going to answer some of your guys' questions here in comments, and then we'll kind of go from there. And again, I'm going to be bouncing between the Lakers and the Dodgers on this one. I think it's warranted. We're almost at the end of the NBA regular season. The playoffs is going to be very, very meaty. Got some bad news on the salary cap thing in the NBA. I think it's justifying the fact that the viewership is not doing too well, to the point where salary cap is only going up a little bit. And that's usually I mean, that doesn't really mean anything in the end. They still got their money, but generally you like to see, I think it's usually a minimum of 7%, and then as high as 10% in terms of how the salary cap is supposed to go up. So we'll talk more about that and see what the future of the NBA is. And it's going to come down to what we've been saying a lot is the NBA is not a parity league. It never will work. They'll still make money. These teams aren't going anywhere. They'll still do expansions because it's too ingrained in society in America and in the world now. But in terms of its quality, in terms of viewership, the people that really lose in the end are the TV networks. And I don't know what they would do. I don't know. Would they renegotiate? Is there something like a renegotiation? Do they just continue to add debt and keep getting bought out? I mean, you guys have been seeing that all over the place. At some point, pushing it over will result in something like Warner Brothers getting bought out by Paramount, at least for right now. I don't know if it's 100% official, but apparently that's what's gone on there. The fact that something that big like Warner Brothers gets bought out, some of the greatest media that's ever been created is from that place, and they couldn't even handle dealing with any of the bad decisions that they had or anything they pushed forward to hope that things would change down the road. Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that, but let me get to some of your comments here. Drip Show in the house. So for those of you, Drip Show's my sponsor there to the right. You guys can see Kobe to my left. Well, it's technically my right, but your left. Drip Show is the artist, and he's the greatest artist I've ever seen in sports. If you guys need anything, I mean anything done, connect with Drip Show on Instagram, on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it, on TikTok, on YouTube. Just put Drip Show on all social media outlets and you'll be able to find them. And if there's a unique thing you want, I highly recommend you connect with him. And he gets the sucker here quick too. He's really good at it. So props to Drip Show for that. Thank you for all the material, Chris. His real name is Chris. And we'll continue to promote your great work and your greatness in general as a person. So thank you. Okay, where are we here? Jeremy, what's up, man? Good to see you too, man. I missed the show last night. I was around a lot of noise. I was thinking about maybe doing something in the car on my way back, but it was just too many people in the car. Joker is going for a 30, 20, 20 again. Let me look at that real quick. Hold on a second. I know the game was in the third when I last checked. Let's see here. So Joker he's sitting at 18 with 8:56 left, 14 rebounds, 15 assists. I see him getting 20. I don't know if I see him getting 20 assists and then maybe 6 more rebounds. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll monitor it. Denver must be winning. They are tied now with Phoenix with 8:37 left. I wouldn't say I have a clue on who's going to win this game. I think either one can. We need Smart's D. Yeah, huge, big time. We can't go into playoffs with her players. I think if Marcus Smart was in a playoff game, I don't think he would have sat. I think they're doing their best to continue to try and get these guys as ready as possible for the stretch run. I think the way they finished off this road trip, if they win tomorrow, they're 5-1, and that was the great that if you had come to me and said 5-1, I would have said hell yeah, and I wouldn't have mind if it was anybody. Just 5-1. You lose one in Houston, you lose to Orlando, you lose one to Miami. Hey, it's all good. I mean, they were this close to being 5-0 right now, and that's how it works. To me, they're playing their rear ends off, and I don't like players sitting, but I believe at this point we gotta as a fan base we gotta focus on what's likely going to happen, and that is unless there's a catastrophic injury, everyone here is going to be available and ready to play because they got to get out of that first round. They get out of that first round. I know they're going to probably play San Antonio. Should they do that? And everyone right now is on San Antonio's nuts, and everyone plus their parents and cousins and uncles and aunts are on Wemby's nuts. They are trying to build this guy into being the megastar alien that he is, and I got to see how his team plays when it matters. That's the only way you're going to really know. And even if somehow his team fell short, he's got time, and it's going to get scary. So that's why it's imperative that if the Lakers can find an opening at some point here, make it worth your while, man. I mean, you don't know. You don't know if San Antonio might trade for somebody at some point and say, "Screw it, we're going to go after uh, Giannis," and say we're putting Giannis next to Wembyama. I mean, that is a surefire championship, by the way, in my view. Whoever they trade, wouldn't matter who. Let's see. Can the Lakers win series against physicality, length, and athleticism from the perimeter defenders? So here's the thing. The answer is yes, and they've sort of shown that lately. The where they'll hurt is they can't play a team that's physical and can score at will. So it's that 3-and-D thing. Be physical, and then can they score at will? That's going to be the question. If I can't see them, I cannot see if there's any indication from the last few games against San Antonio. If the Lakers play like that against that team, they'll probably lose in 4 or 5. I don't know. I don't know what that series would look like if the Lakers get out of the first round. I don't know. I have no idea. It's going to be hard to beat Wemby one-on-one. So do you let him get his? Do you let him do his thing? See, the problem with Wemby isn't that you let him do his thing. You're going to have to shoot the lights out to beat that guy because you're not going to be able to go to the basket. You're not going to be able to go to the basket unless you are crashing the boards and you are very, very, very attentive in how you're getting to the basket and how you're going to lay it up or dunk it because he will block everything. And you got to have somebody back there because the Lakers are notorious for missing close layups when there's a little bit of distraction. And there's no bigger distraction than Victor Wembanyama. There's no bigger distraction, literally. So, and they're already going to give him the Defensive Player of the Year. The NBA still loves giving the Defensive Player of the Year awards to the biggest guy in the middle. I don't know what it is. I would think it's harder to play defense when you're a perimeter guy trying to keep a athletic freak from getting to the basket. But they don't like to do that. They like block shots, tall guys, and rebounds. So I don't really give a damn anyways. But as far as what the Lakers will be when it matters, I think it's still up in the air. I have no idea. But Luka, LeBron, there's enough history there. There's enough experience with Luka and LeBron where if Luka gets on a heater, it's a problem for the other team no matter what's going on. Like if Luka drops 50 or 60 in a playoff game, you're not winning that game. you're probably not winning that game. And Austin Reeves has a lot to prove. He's going to have a lot to prove because he's struggled in the playoffs because of the athleticism, because of people just guard guys differently in the playoffs. It's more strict, it's more focused, and getting to the basket, creating contact and making baskets, it becomes a little bit harder, especially if you're going to play somebody like Wembanyama, right? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm with the Lakers at this point, and we'll have to again gauge it as we go. There's only I think 10 games left, and we'll see how that plays out. What's the difference between Kobe jacking up his shots and Luka? Does Luka shot Lakers in games now? It's a good question, JY. I would say Luka's probably a better shot maker than Kobe. Kobe was a scorer; he wasn't a shooter. Luka is a shooter and a scorer. I don't think Kobe. Let me look at his stats. I don't remember Kobe ever shooting 40% from three. Let me look at his stats. Unless it was a shortened year or what. Let me see here. Yes, that is correct. See, Kobe never shot. I think his best percentage from three was in 2003, where he shot 38%. Whereas Luka, let's look at Luka's history in terms of the three. Let's see, Luka. Oh wow, Luka's never shot 40% from three. That's interesting. All right, that's a surprise. Huh. Well, I guess that's something we could talk about, I guess. Why does it feel like Luka's a better shooter than Kobe? Is it because his shot is a little bit more fluid, whereas Kobe was a little bit more forced? Maybe. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder now. Let's talk about it. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know. Let me know. What do you think it is? They're pretty much same percentage their whole career, right? At this point in Luka's career. Why does it look better when Luka does it versus Kobe? Is it just more pressure against Kobe? Was it at that time the 3-point shot wasn't as erratic and available as it is now? I think that plays a part in it. I think Luka wouldn't be the player he is now in the late 2000s. I think he'd be more point guardish and then drop the three when he needs to. So it's something we can maybe assess here and figure out what I don't know. That I love being surprised, and I just got surprised because I could have sworn that Luka might have had a few 40%ers in that time. Let's see here. Hey, Craig, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Let's see here. Mark, what's up, man? Yeah, see, so I let's see what Jeremy says. I think Luka can still get better, big body. He should be able to improve his defense, and he is unstoppable. So this is a little bit of the explanation I used to this is an explanation I used to always roll with when I would discuss Kobe's game and how people would call him selfish. I'm not going to get into the point of selfish. Everybody has their own view of what's selfish. And in a weird way, most megastars are selfish. Did it come at the expense of his teammates? Did he hog the ball because he had quips saying, "Well, if they're not practicing hard, why would I pass them?" Right? The thing is, selfish players don't win on a regular basis. There's a history of that. When you're selfish, you don't win, and when you're selfish, you don't win multiple championships. So selfish is probably not the word I would use to gauge Luka in any way. Luka is I haven't heard a single issue with anybody with Luka when it comes to his teammates, Dallas or LA. Doesn't matter. Everybody loves Luka. Kyrie loves Luka. LeBron loves Luka. Austin Reeves, they're like brothers. So Luka doesn't have any of that selfishness to the point where he alienates anybody from his teams. Shooting a team out. Well, I mean, what other option do you have? This is what we've been talking about throughout the year, especially on the Lakers fast break. Luka doesn't really have the team that he would be better equipped with. And what I mean by better equipped with is imagine not being able to shade a second defender on Luka. Imagine that. Imagine having to always have singular defending, a singular defense on Luka, because the team is deathly afraid that Luka is going to find that guy going to the basket and scoring at will, or getting the ball to a big that can turn around and get the basket. When Luka gets his snipers and his defenders and a serviceable center, and that might be DeAndre Ayton, it might not be DeAndre. I don't know. I'm just saying, when you get him the two wings that he needs, I'm going to say two wings, guys that can defend and guys that can jump out the building, athletic wings. And you have a big that can shoot and that can make a decent effort in terms of getting a basket 2 or 3 feet away from the basket without issue. He gets those three guys with, let's say, an Austin Reeves, and I'm thinking more future. So obviously LeBron's not going to be here for the next 3 or 4 years. And it's going to take a minute for them to draft these guys or acquire them, right? You get that, and you're probably not going to see Luka Doncic have to shoot those shots that you've been seeing him shoot since he's really been playing since the beginning. He sort of had it going in the 2024 season when they were able to get Lively and the PJ Washingtons and try to put that team in a certain way. But a lot of those guys were either injured or young, or it was a short amount of time for them to play. He never had a chance to really play with those guys for a training camp and a full season. They were on their way, and that's one of those areas where I feel bad for Luka, or I'm sorry, for the Dallas Maverick fan. Although it did go bad anyways because Kyrie ended up getting hurt, so it would have been a wasted year again this year. So I don't know. I don't know what would have happened in Dallas. He would have had to have waited, much like he's waiting in LA now, until he gets the team that works best for him. He needs guys on his team that are athletic, can shoot, and can defend. We don't need them to be all NBA either. We don't need them to be Dale Ellis or Del Curry or Steph Curry. We don't need them to be that. They need to be a threat. They need to be a consistent threat, like a Jalen Williams, let's say, right? And Jalen Williams could be a all-defensive guy and maybe an all-star down the road, sure. But they didn't draft, you didn't hear Jalen Williams too much in terms of what he would become. We just want someone that's solid, that's young, that's available, that can do those things. And if you set those two next to Luka, and then you have an Austin Reeves, let's say, and then maybe you acquire somebody else that's a star with a solid, front court. Again, I'm not looking for Wembanyama or Jokic, just somebody that can hit a 3 or 4 foot shot, or maybe go out a little bit and make a shot if you need him to spread out the floor a little bit. Now you've got that. Now you have the star having the full equipment, much like how Steph had it in Golden State for 3 or 4 years at its peak. Kobe had it a couple times. Jordan obviously had it. Magic Bird had it. The 80s were a little different because there was only, I think, 21 teams in the 80s. Well, at the main part of the 80s, as 89 and so on started coming in. Then they started expanding to the point where now you have 30 teams. Soon we're gonna have 32 teams apparently. So yeah, so it's still a work in progress here. LA Lakers are still a work in progress. It's gonna hurt should they lose in any capacity, but the reality of this is still a team that's not really set exactly how it should for a Luka Doncic team. But there's time. Luka just turned 27, and I still believe that he is 2 off seasons away from having a full capacity team, and that's what I'm going to stay with. Let's see. To me, Luka's shot is pure. Kobe put in work on his shot. Kobe had a beautiful shot when he had space, right? You have to also understand, guys, is Luka is 6'8". He's a few inches taller than Kobe. There's a lot of truth that Kobe wasn't really 6'6". He was closer to 6'4.5", maybe 6'5" with shoes, right? So the difference between 6'8" and 6'5" is considerable. That's why Kobe had such high props for someone like T-Mac, right? T-Mac was, I think, listed at 6'8", 6'9". That extra 3 inches does a lot, guys. An extra 2 or 3 inches puts you in a position where you can either get a scholarship in college or not. That's how important those extra 2, 3 inches are. And then in basketball, it's even more because now you have better elevation, less likely to get blocked. Obviously, if you have longer arms, it's even better. So Kobe's shot was beautiful when he's got separation, but when a good defender got up on him, he had to shoot over him. That was the thing with Kobe, is he was the best bad shot maker ever. Whereas I think Luka gets more separation in his step backs and being able to shift back and forth because he can move his hips and kind of create that separation. Even if you're riding his hip as he's going to the basket, he'll do something where he'll get separation and then get the ball up in the hoop. Luka shoots a great percentage in the first half. Most of the second half percentage goes down. Kobe shoots all game. Yes. So pacing. Pacing is something I've been noticing with Luka. He comes out the gate, and this is where this will play a huge factor in the next phase of the Lakers team. If Luka likes to come out the gate in the lead, the Lakers need somebody to really, really harness that middle part. So if Luka wants to sit the first 6 minutes, I like the rotation. I feel like I've grown up with that rotation where the star, the guy in his prime, plays the first full quarter, then sits the first 5 to 6 minutes in the beginning of the second quarter, plays the rest of the half after that. Then they play the third. Then they rest the first 5 to 6 minutes of the fourth, and then they finish the game. I remember that vividly with Kobe. That was the rotation with Phil. And a lot of it was also with Shaq, depending on how his foul situations would come about. So if that is indeed what he's going to do, well, does it cool him off after he sits for about 5 minutes? I don't know, maybe. But if you're going to do that, then set up the team to where whoever is playing with him, whether it's the next star or somebody you draft that ends up being better than you thought he was going to be, somebody needs to take care of that second quarter and third quarter so that Luka plays like he does in the first quarter, in the fourth quarter. That's what I'd like. LA loves Luka. Luka made us forget all about LeBron. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I've shifted a little bit with the LeBron detracting. I think it's not a healthy thing. And it's not healthy because it's pointless in terms of the effort to do that. I want LeBron to be successful. Because if he's successful, the Lakers are successful. And that's important. At the end of the day, we're Laker fans. At least I am. And LeBron, while his narcissistic tendencies and all his innuendos and code talking. In the end, sometimes you're just not going to click with certain people. But that's none of my business in the end as a fan. If LeBron James is going to help my favorite team win, I am going to support him. And I want to support him, and I want to also congratulate greatness too. That's something that just clicked for me this year for some reason. Just finally clicked. And maybe it was the fact that he played another year where I'm like, how does this guy keep just playing the way he plays? I'm seeing him dunk all over the place. I feel like I've seen him dunk nonstop the last couple months. And there has to be an appreciation to that. Just like people hating the New England Patriots when they were winning. I hated the Patriots too because they kept beating the Steelers. But in the end, you have to, I changed. I started liking Tom Brady. I started liking Bill Belichick because winning and greatness has to be championed. Pardon the pun. It has to be respected. And I'm on the Patrick Mahomes wagon now. Everybody hates him, and he hasn't even done anything. At least with Belichick and Tom Brady, they were around weird things like Spygate or Deflategate, whatever the hell it was. What the hell has Patrick Mahomes done to anybody? What? You don't like his personal life? What the hell does that have to do with you? So greatness needs to be celebrated. We've never seen what LeBron does or what he's doing. We've never seen it. Appreciate it. And he's a Laker, and he's trying to help the Lakers win. And Luka seems to like him. Austin likes him. JJ likes him. Who are we? In the end, who are we? And I'm seeing some good things. I'm seeing great things from JJ. I'm seeing great things from everybody. And if you're going to do things right, even if it's at the even if you lose, if you're putting in the effort. Last night's game, they got down by 16. It's almost at the end of a long road trip, and they still came back and they were ahead with under a minute left. You have to respect that. It's still 82 games during the year. You're not going to win every game, but damn it, they tried to win that game. They tried to go 5-0 in this road trip and win 10 in a row. They were there. They didn't give up. And that needs to be commended because they're going to win these games when they play like that, like Indiana and playing Phoenix at home and the Cleveland's at home. That kind of effort, they will win at home like that. And it's not. I'm pretty comfortable in saying if Marcus Smart had played last night's game, they would have won. They needed one more guy that could play a little bit tighter for them because I felt like Detroit was too free. They were getting to the basket too much in terms of the dribble penetration, and there was some amazing shots being made. I know Jenkins had his career year or career game, but that's something we haven't seen before, guys. Is it? Some of these guys continue to play like they've never had the great game they've had, and then they have it with the Lakers, right? So that's what this was, and I'm fairly happy with that. I'm fairly happy with what's going on with the Lakers right now, and I'm going to continue to support LeBron and everybody. And I'm not gonna fall into that trap of the BS that's going on. And right now, the next phase that's really just an absolute waste of time. I'm just basically turning channels. I'm shutting things off because I can't do it anymore, man. These guys have nothing else to talk about. Now the talk is, how is LeBron doing as a third option? There is no third option, you fucking morons. How does a guy a third option when he's dropping a triple-double? There is no options other than Luka's the one option, right? He's the main guy. He's 27. He's the guy, right? Okay. But options, what is this obsession with second and third options? Just play the game. LeBron is doing things we haven't seen anyone do where he is. Enjoy the game. Talk about the game. Talk about what the Lakers can do to maybe surprise somebody instead of worrying about degrading the guy, because you know that's what it is. And that's probably why I'm starting to like him a little bit more, because I'm tired of this too. I'm tired of everything. If it wasn't 2020 bubble, it was Ray Allen's shot. If it wasn't Ray Allen's shot, oh, he won a championship when there was 66 games. You're always pointing out an excuse on why and what with this guy. When is it enough? Oh, the Lakers are winning, but that's because LeBron's a third option. Why does it have to be a backhanded comment? Are you catering to the numbskulls out there because that's what they want to hear? Fuck you. How about that? The main reason why I couldn't stand LeBron when he did stupid stuff was because it distracted from my team. I don't give a shit if LeBron is going to parties with whoever, dancing, whatever. I don't give a shit. As long as you're not hurting kids, abusing women, and murdering innocent people, I don't give a fuck what you do. I am here to watch the Lakers. I'm here to watch greatness. He is one of the greatest to do this. And he's still doing it after all this time. That's what I'm here for. I don't really need to hear the freaking soap opera, and it never ends. So I'm just trying to put a little different spin on this, so maybe it'll resonate. I don't know. We'll see. I was a bronze sexual, but I'm starting to branch out and become a Luka mega fan like Mark. I think one of the worst terms I've heard is bronze sexual. I think that just makes me itch. Luka sexual, it doesn't flow as well there, Chris, as bronze sexuals. Joe, thoughts on Hayes? He's in a career year looking for a new contract, I believe, after this year. What kind of contract does he deserve? I hope he gets a 5. I hope he gets a 3-year, $15 million contract, 3-year, 20. I don't know. I've been very happy with his play. I think he's a perfect backup center. Problem is, he's not going to be able to be effective when it matters, though. That's the issue. He's a step behind usually when there's a dominant team that he's playing against. He's been blocking some shots lately. I'll give him that. I've been seeing more of that lately. But in terms of how the basketball IQ, when he starts to play the big boys, when the lights are a little brighter, that's when he starts to struggle. Definitely making a Lucas sexual. Don't do that, Chris. Make one of him as the god. No. The Don. There you go, Mark. Luka is the Don. It's the prefix of his name, his surname, or whatever the hell they call it. Joe, with the success Lakers are having right now, are we still gonna go after? Oh yeah, Giannis has to be an option that you have to go after. You have to go with the thing is, though, is if they have to make a deal, this summer, it's probably going to mean Austin Reeves is going. JJ doing an underrated job right now. I'd say, I mean, JJ, we have to also understand, man, he's only been coaching a year and 3 quarters. I just had no real opinion on JJ. I mean, I might have said some things here and there every now and then. I never really had a gauge on him yet. I just didn't. There's things I didn't like that he did, like the way he'd hold a microphone and some of the gyrations and things like that. But I mean, we watched Bobby Knight do shit like that for 50 years. So, I mean, that's not going to say much. And Nick Saban, who's my favorite coach of any sport ever, he had his moments where he snapped at media and had a little bit of an attitude. So I didn't hold that against him too much. And I just didn't have a real opinion yet. It's too small of a sample size. But I liked how he set up those plays in Orlando. And I liked how he's got some things working out here with the team. The chemistry's working. And yeah, you got to give him credit for putting some things together here where the winning is really ultimately the saying of how good he's doing. Winning when it comes to coaching is what is the alpha to the omega. There is nothing else. You could devise the best X's and O's plan. You can be the greatest communicator of all time. You could be the best looking, the sharpest suits, whatever. You ain't winning. That don't matter. You're going to be gone very, very soon. Hey, Rocky, how you doing? The life that I live is not to the point where I couldn't do this more often, but I think a lot of it comes down to what do I want to bring to this thing, and when am I going to be able to get it out? And tonight, I was watching the Dodger game. They lost to the Angels. This is the last spring training game for the year. They're gonna have a little day off tomorrow, and then opening day is on Thursday. I just wanted to get on here and talk a little Lakers after the Detroit game and after today's game and my attendance at the game yesterday, and just try to get everybody ready for what's coming, and the transition to what's going on in baseball, to go from the one LA to another. The Dodgers have had an interesting week in terms of its fan base. The fan base almost sounds like Padre fans or San Francisco Giant fans. There's this obsessive whining about who, what, where, who's getting the shaft, why is he coming? Oh, this guy's gonna suck. And I'm gonna remind you, some of you guys, that whoever who's out there who ends up watching this and listening to this, because my boys here know how I roll, and you guys know how I feel about this. I remember Muncy starting the year last year in a almost a dreaded, almost doesn't look like he was ever going to get out of his drought. And the things Dodgers fans said about Max Muncy, I was embarrassed. It was embarrassing. Like, this is Max Muncy, man. This guy's helped you win 2 championships. He's been here since the beginning. He's the longest tenured Dodger now that Clayton Kershaw retired. The visceral, the venom. And you guys are starting to do that again. You're starting to do it to Dave Roberts, to Andrew Friedman, because Hae-Sung Kim has been designated to go to AAA. And guys, use your fucking brain sometimes, Dodger fans. Use this. I know a lot of you are stupid. People are stupid in general, right? But I'm going to teach you something here, or at least make you aware of how stupid you are. If you want an organization to continue to get better, as they have, and remember this clearly, there aren't a lot of teams in baseball that do what the Dodgers have done. A lot of these guys, don't matter the big payroll, little payroll, you can see it. You can see it. Boston Red Sox are a big market. You've seen what they've done. Houston, big market. You've seen what they've done. And what I mean by you've seen what they've done, how many players have the Red Sox sent the LA Dodgers way? And you all know where I'm going with that. Houston, they had a perennial all-star who helped them win a championship. What did they do with him? Did they care about winning enough to keep Kyle Tucker? No. No one is doing what the Dodgers are doing right now. Even the Braves in the 90s and early 2000s weren't doing what the Dodgers are doing. Now, I will give them credit at that time. They were doing a little bit, because guess who their owner was? Ted Turner. That guy loved to win too. That guy was competitive. You know who else did stuff like that? The boss in New York, George Steinbrenner. The Dodgers are just a cleaner version of those two mindsets. It's very rare what you're watching. So if you're going to sit there and bitch and whine and we got to get this guy. We got to get this guy. They got Kyle Tucker, who was the number one free agent this offseason. They got arguably the top two closer. It's Miller out in San Diego, and it's Edwin Diaz, right? No one, I don't think, is going to argue that. I mean, there's some arguments for other guys, but a lot of the guys, I was going to say Class A, but he's never coming back. You know what I mean, right? So you get at least top two closer when you desperately needed one, and you just got the best 4.5 tool player, maybe. Could be a 5 tool player, depending on how you look at it. Who's going to hit behind Ohtani? And I'm going to get into that in a minute. You know what happens when you accumulate too much talent? You know what happens when your team already has so much talent and was voted the second best farm system out of the 30 teams? Guess what happens, guys? Guess what happens when you not only draft well, have good players that aren't available yet, and your team is stacked? Oh, and they just won the fucking World Series for the second time in a row. You know what happens? When you have too much talent, you have to now give up talent for the time being. There's not enough room. Excuse me. There's not enough room. Major League Baseball only allows 26 players to play in a given game. Use your brains. Use your brains. There's not enough spots. Let the guys who've just produced the first time in its history, the first time in Dodger history, the Dodgers were created. There's a couple dates I've seen. It's either 1883 or 1884. So I'm just saying 83, 84 at this point. The Dodgers have been in existence since 1883, 84. And this was the first time, as storied a franchise as they are, this was the first time they've won repeat championships. And yet I got to keep hearing about, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they have, oh my God, Tanner Scott. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, Roki. Why don't you just watch and enjoy the season? That's what I'm going to do. I have no reason, even if they win 90 games this year. I saw them besides winning the championship, I saw the Dodgers do something in a billion years I never saw happening. If you had come to me and said, Joe, Shaq and Kobe, they only won 56 games during the regular season, I'm like, they'll turn it on. Joe, Powell, and Kobe, they only won 57 games. They don't have the best record in the NBA, so that means if they go to the finals, they're probably going to have to, they're not going to have home court. So now come last year, Dodgers are losing in droves after that July 4th debacle series against Houston. I felt like they were never going to win, and I was upset. The reason why I was upset is because in a million years, I've never seen the Dodgers go through a regular season and then all of a sudden flip the switch. It's never happened. I've never seen it. I don't know if the 63 or the 65 team or the 59 team did it. I don't know. I wasn't around then. I don't know. 55 team, no clue. But in a million years, I never thought the Dodgers would have for their standard, a lackluster regular season, despite all the injuries and all that bullshit. Whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm watching a team go 2-0, 3-1, at 4-0 going into the World Series. And they didn't lose this team was horrid on the road all year for 6 months. They were horrid for 6 months on the road. Well, technically 5 months and 3 weeks because they were awesome on the road the last week in Miami and I think Seattle. And then they rolled into the playoffs and lost one road game. And that one road game was because they were off for like 9 days, right? They were leading in that game too. Just lost their juice. One road game. 7-1 on the road. They really became the Road Warriors. So, I know you guys like the rants. And I know you guys like to see me going nuts. Now, I'm not saying the rants are going away. And this is something that you guys aren't used to seeing the last year, let's say, because the Dodgers, before they start winning, the Lakers, before they start kind of getting out of their own situation. When I start to rant next, it'll be ranting against the opposition. It won't be against the Dodgers. It won't be against the Lakers. I think that's going to be more entertaining in the end. The Dodgers proved last year that it didn't matter what they did in the regular season. And that's not something that's normal. A regular season, a subpar regular season to where you had to play in a wild card game and you made it look like, oh, that don't matter. We'll go into the World Series not losing a single road game. Oh, and we'll sweep the number one team in the majors. Wait, what? The team that beat you 6 times during the regular season, you're going to sweep them? Come on. Wait, you're going to win the first game on the road and the second? Oh, there's going to be a complete game too? Oh, and there's going to be another complete game on the road against probably the best offense of 2025. Now, you might be sitting here going, well, Joe, they got the World Series. They almost lost. It's true. They almost lost. They should have lost. But should don't mean shit. What I can't get out of my head is how the hell did the Dodgers win a World Series and beat arguably the best offense that I had seen all year? Playing C-plus baseball. How did that happen? Maybe I'm lowering that letter a little too much. Okay, B-. How the hell did they win a World Series with their B- team? I don't think it's B-. I thought it was C+. And then you played against guys that were A's. You had a guy that had 30 hits in the playoffs. He only played 3 series too. Wasn't like he was in the wild card either. They beat the Yankees in 4. They played 7 games against Seattle and then 7 against the Dodgers. Well, that's plenty of games, but 30 is still a lot, even if you're playing all those games. Barger was hitting. Ernie was hitting. Guerrero was, in my view, he's better than his pops at this point. That guy was getting hits. I don't even know how the hell he was getting the bat around. That double he hit off Yamamoto in Game 7 in extras before they ended up walking Barger and then getting the double play from Kirk. I don't know how the hell he caught up to that ball. I have no idea how the hell he caught up to that ball. That was not a guess. That was pure freakish talent. Not from a guy like Yamamoto who put that ball exactly where he wanted it to the point where I don't know how the hell that he was able to barrel that. I would have guessed the bat would have broken because it would have hit right where his hands were. Son of a gun got enough wind out of that to get that ball, and it was a clean double. It wasn't even on the line. All that going on. All that stuff going on, and they still won with their C+/B- game no, I don't think Toronto's going to deny this, their A game. If they had played anyone, and that's the one I did get wrong, because I thought the hardest series was going to be the Philly series. And normally I'm worried about the NLDS just because it's a 5-game series. So now, on top of the fact that I'm just worried it's a short series, Philly was always an issue. It was always an issue for the Dodgers. Just something about Philly, playing in Philly. And this goes for my Steelers too. The Steelers have not beaten the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly since 1965. So anytime I hear anybody doing anything in Philadelphia, I'm like, oh, shit. It's going to be a loss. Not last year. So we're 2 games from opening day. The Dodgers are on their way. And I wrote this on YouTube. It's an improbable quest for a three-peat. The three-peat in today's game is an anomaly. I'm talking about baseball. Football, much harder, no doubt. That's why there's never been a three-peat winner in football. However, I see a three-peat in basketball more than I see a three-peat in baseball. And basketball right now is in its parity phase. But I wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma City's healthy throughout the whole playoff run. They're probably going to win it. But the Dodgers, I don't even think the word immortality is even the right word. The Dodgers, should they win this year, again, they will have an argument of being the greatest baseball team ever assembled for a 3-year period. And that is not a Dodger fan saying that. That is anyone in baseball will say it. You're talking about beating the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, prestige of that. Grand slam to win a game, the 5th inning debacle. A year later, I would have never imagined there'd be another series that would match the excitement of that game as a Dodger guy. At the time, it wasn't exciting. I almost had a heart attack 15 times. But looking back on it now, Dodger fans will probably have witnessed the greatest Dodger World Series ever. I don't think, and I say this, I don't think anymore. I'm not going to guarantee it, because seeing in a 3-year span, seeing 2 7-game series where the road team wins every game, that was weird to me. I thought I'd never see that again, ever. The 2019 World Series, and then Texas and Houston, coincidentally, in the ALCS. Never would have imagined. Almost feels fixed because of the whole Houston at home thing. It's not fixed. It felt like that. Like, so did Houston in those 2 losses in 2019 and 2023, where they didn't win a home game, even though they won every road game? Are you really? What were they trying to do? Compensate for that? But the Dodgers not only have won the last 2 years, they've done it in a way where it made, like, when Michael Jordan won, it was a spectacle on top of it. It wasn't just the White Sox sweeping Houston in 2005, or the Red Sox sweeping the Cardinals in 2004. Like, there was greatness shown. There was plays that happened in those games that will never be forgotten. I mean, for God's sakes, Freddie Freeman has 2 walk-off home runs in back-to-back seasons. And this is with him having a World Series in 2024 where he wasn't stopping. He hit a home run in Game 1. He hit a home run in Game 2. He hit a home run in Game 3. He hit a home run in Game 4. And I remember the 4th one. There was a guy I zeroed in on because that last one in Game 4, it went out quick, and it clicked at that moment. I don't know why it clicked, but then I also remember seeing the guy's face. There was a Yankee fan in the stands when that ball was there, and you could just see him go. It was one of those things where I grew up seeing my whole life from my parents. It's like, oh my God. Like the feeling of complete defeat. Like that was it. It's funny because the Dodgers ended up losing Game 4, but in the end, it manifested to what that man was feeling. And then I started thinking, I'm like, where the hell were the Yankees when Atlanta was too busy playing with their butts going after Matt Olson? Dude, you've got an iconic, one of the greatest personalities, the greatest ambassadors of baseball, who's still great. The man hit 59 doubles that first year in LA. How do you let this icon, Atlanta Brave icon, whom you drafted, who won you a World Series, I mean, he helped you win it, man. He hit home runs off really good pitchers. Hader still sees him in his nightmares. You let him go for Matt Olson? And that's such a sad thing to say. I like Matt Olson. I really do. I think he's great. But he ain't Freddie Freeman. So the whole time I'm thinking, man, could you imagine Freddie Freeman? And it wouldn't cost you a lot of money, too. I mean, relative to baseball, obviously, not real life. Yankees couldn't have dropped 140 that they gave him for 6 years? First of all, Atlanta couldn't do that for their guy? Come on, guys. Really? The analytics really took over that much? Where are the Yankees in this? Imagine if Freddie Freeman goes, if the Yankees had any brains with that little league right fence, they would have won a World Series by now with Freddie Freeman. We wouldn't have to hear about Judge anymore. Seriously. If the Yankees had gotten Freddie Freeman, and they could have, if they recognized that, he would be great in that ballpark, right? Lefty, great hitter, great personality. People in New York would have fell in love with him, right? But the Dodgers just pay for everybody, right? You all really need to understand, who are not Dodger fans. You have to understand, anyone could have gotten these guys. Anyone. Guys like Muncy was thrown away. Chris Taylor, thrown away. Kike Hernandez, thrown away. Teoscar Hernandez. Toronto didn't want him. Seattle didn't want him. Okay. Boston, they wanted to save money. So they traded Mookie Betts to the Dodgers so that they can collect their other contracts and they can get out of whatever the hell they were in. Thank you, John Henry. Freddie Freeman, Atlanta Brave icon. You just, we got 12 years and a championship. Peace. And now, if it's up to the Hall of Fame, and I still don't know how this works. I've been reading on it. I don't know. Who's going to choose the hat? I guess somebody chooses the hat from the writers, the voters. I don't know. Player, you know how Freddie is. He'll say both because that's who he is. But for the love of God, okay, we know Freddie's going to play 2 more years after this 2-year contract's over. He's going to get 3,000 hits in a Dodger uniform. He's probably going to win at least 2 more titles. I'm going to say at least 2 more titles in the next 4 years. Now he's going to be sitting with 5 championships, 3,000 hits, all and the biggest games. And who knows what he's going to do in the next 4 years? Will he hit another game winner? Will he be a NLCS MVP again? Who knows? But let's just say we know the stuff that we do know. Let's say he wins a couple more championships. He's got 5 titles. He's going to get 3,000 hits. Maybe he might win a batting title. I'm predicting he's going to win the batting title this year just because I want him to. You really going to remember him as a Rave? You're really going to remember him as a Brave? It's a Dodger legend, baby. Number 5 is getting retired, right next to Gil Hodges, Tommy Lasorda, Duke Snyder, and all those guys. So the point of my discussion here is I'm trying to make all Dodger fans understand that things have changed. This is no longer the Mike Piazza team, Eric Karros, Raul Mondesi. Those Dodgers are gone. You had good players like Andre Ethier and borderline great players like Matt Kemp. All those guys, it's completely different. As much fun as we've had watching those guys play all those years, I can name you everyone. Steve Finley's home run to clinch the division. We've still seen, even through shitty ownership, through some questionable acquisitions. Andrew Jones, worst acquisition ever, probably. All those things. The Dodgers have shown glimpses, but then they always kind of came up short. Well, now they're not. Now they're not coming up short. Now they're making everyone around them come up short. Now they're winning in clutch moments that should not happen. And stuff that's being written that I don't even know what do you call it? What do you call? You're talking about the World Series has been in existence since 1903. 2 years ago was the first time you saw a walk-off grand slam. Two years ago, you saw the first game clinching in the World Series where a team was down 5 that late in the game. Fast forward 2025. Freddie Freeman hits another walk-off. 18 innings again. 3 road wins. 3 road wins from your pitcher. Forget about that he won 3 games in the series. 3 games on the road with no rest in 6 and 7. In the modern game. Randy Johnson in 01 at least got a rest. Yamamoto didn't have a rest. You should have seen some of the clips from Blue Jays fans. They're like, who is this guy? He just pitched 2 innings and 2/3 like he had a 5-day vacation before. Those little things right there that I keep putting together here, guys, this allows immunity to the Dodgers in whatever they say. It's impossible for me to watch the 2026 Dodgers and really feel uncomfortable in any point of the year because they've earned it. Last year, I was more upset than probably years. But that's because I felt you cannot be this great and this stacked and not win a second title in a row. There was greatness beyond greatness that should have happened. And I was frustrated because I thought they were going to bow out. I thought they were going to screw it up. And they were screwing it up for 2.5 months. It wasn't like they screwed up for a month or maybe 3 weeks. They kept just sucking ass all through July, all through August, all through the first 2 weeks of September. And I'm like, oh my God, are you really seriously? This was supposed to be the greatest team ever. Murderers Row, 27. Yankees, 98. Cincinnati, 75. Baltimore Orioles, 1970. How the hell are they going to play in a wild card game now? They got to go play a wild card game? All that stuff, all of it, don't mean shit. They got in when it mattered. 2-0, 3-1, and then smacked the best team in the majors record-wise in a 4-game ass whooping. Not only did they whoop their ass, but your number one guy dropped 10 strikeouts and 3 home runs and a clincher. That was a fun conversation I had with anti-Dodger fans. It's because scumbag losers always move the goalposts. What's the popular cliche in sports? The hardest game to win is the closeout game. By the way, that's true. You can ask Doc Rivers about that, by the way. You don't need to ask me. Go ask Doc Rivers. Okay. It's a closeout game. Oh, there was no pressure, Joe. There's no pressure? There's no pressure in closing out a professional team that was the best team record-wise throughout a 6-month season? There's no pressure to pitch and hit? Not only did he hit 3 home runs off 3 different pitchers. One of those pitchers threw a 99-mile-an-hour pitch inside, and he took it and nuked it. And then the one before that, he nuked it even more. When is it real for you fucking idiots? When are you going to stop making excuses because you live a miserable life where you have to criticize everything you don't like? Look at the setup. Look at the results. The results should tell you exactly how you should act. I don't care. And you shouldn't either. It's about winning the championship. And when you acquire immense talent and you develop immense talent, guess what? There's going to be a lot of talent that's not going to be able to play, folks. If you guys watched the 2000 Portland Trailblazers, they had Jermaine O'Neal on that team. He didn't get any time because there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough spots. You acquire too much talent based off of what we want, right? Wow, we got to go get Kyle Tucker. We got to go get Edwin Diaz. We got to go get everybody. And especially my favorite part about this one is anytime a player has a great playoff run. I remember the fucking asshole two-faced fucks that were so happy and so adamant about Chris Taylor getting an extension after his 2021 run, the walk-off and all that. And Chris Taylor had already won an NLCS MVP before that, too, the year that they should have won a championship, except for those Astros pieces of shit cheating. And then a year later, he starts to struggle. Oh, I can't believe they signed him. I'm like, you bitches, you fucking said you wanted him. You're the ones that said you wanted him. Oh, now you're going to change your mind when he starts playing bad. No. It's time to call out everybody out. And again, I'm not a content. I don't even know what the hell content creator is. This sounds like a stupid word, like influencer. Listen, I'm not here to influence anyone. And I'm not a content creator. I'm a narrator to what I see. And if my opinion is wrong, yeah, sometimes we have an opinion. Hey, I thought we looked like shit going into the regular season, and then they looked amazing in the playoffs. Shit. But was that really an opinion? Maybe the opinion of me thinking they weren't going to win it. Okay, but there's still logic behind that opinion. There's still logic. For example, if the Patriots had won the Super Bowl, it would have been a surprise. And then all the other idiots would, oh, you guys didn't give us a chance. That's why I hate that line. Anytime I see anything, where I start hearing the idiots say, "Oh, nobody gave us a chance." I'm like, Jesus Christ! Of course, no one gave you a chance. You had your backup fucking quarterback in the game. What were we supposed to think? Kareem was out. 1980 finals. He was out. Of course, they think that Philly's going to win. Your MVP's out. Oh, nobody believed in us. Oh, yes, because Kareem was out. That's why. This was a surprise, and that happens. So it's the same thing last year. And what it did was, because I had seen something I had never seen before from my team. I have been watching the Dodgers since I've been 10 years old, more than any of my other teams. Kids usually, at least when I was growing up, gravitated to baseball first. It was kind of the testosterone father-son passage. Baseball's usually the first. So I've been watching baseball for 36 years. I've been a Dodger fan knowingly and understanding what's going on for the same amount of time. I know this team. I know my team. And as TV got better, more access, all that, I started being able to access it and watch every game and listen to every game. And, you know, you start to understand and more and be involved and be invested in it. Never would have thought they would have been road warriors in the 2025. They had no indication that they were going to do anything like that. Beating Philly in both games? What are you, nuts? This is split the game, man. And win it at home. Sweep the Brewers? They just whooped our ass 6 times. I know things change in the playoffs, but did a sweep? At least when the Mets kicked the shit out of the Dodgers in '88 during the regular season, I think they won like 10 out of 11 or 9 out of 10. At least it still went 7 games. I had no idea. No idea. And no way predicted that they would go 4-0 against Milwaukee. And then check this out. So all this happens, and I'm going like, hey, this team's going to win in 4 or 5. Nope. Toronto turned on the Jets, and they played their asses off. They just couldn't get the hits when they needed them really badly. All 3 games that they won were blowouts, but they couldn't win the close ones. And that happened once in 1960. Bill Mazeroski, game-winning home run in Game 7 for the Pirates. The Yankees, every game the Yankees won in that series was a blowout, and every game the Pirates won was a close game. So you will not see me talk about the Dodgers in a negative light this year, except for little instances. Oh my God, Tanner Scott really is done, like something like that. Or is Roki ever going to get well? But I'm on board. I'm on board with whatever decision Dave Roberts decides to make. And I've been on board with Andrew Friedman. Andrew Friedman has done everything you could do as a general manager. I don't think that guy could screw up for the next 5 years, and I still wouldn't be able to say anything. So I want a three-peat. I want to compare the three-peat from the Lakers to the Dodgers. That'd be a fun show. That'll be a fun show. So Mark wants me to start going back to the Lakers. Lakers are going to be playing our good friend Sports Baby's team tomorrow. Now, I have to call out my good friend, Sports Baby, a.k.a. Vari, because he's starting to contemplate whether he wants to be a Laker fan. You know my answer to that? I appreciate that, Carino. Nick Turturro is a crack up man. Well, that little thing he does where he runs out of the door from the restaurant, that's funny. That part just makes me laugh without him talking. But go back to my friend Vari, aka Sports Baby, aka Vari, whatever you want to call him. Vari wants to defect Indiana and come to LA. This wouldn't have happened if Halliburton hadn't gotten hurt, because Indiana would have won an NBA championship last year, and that bothers me. I don't know why. That bothers me. I don't like it. I don't like it. You need to stay with your team, Vari. My view. I know it's my view. It's my view. I'm not trying to dog anybody else out there. There's only one team. I don't have a second favorite team. I'm not 11. The Houston Texans are my second favorite team. What? What do you mean second favorite team? What are you still playing with G.I. Joes? What the fuck does that even mean? Take it seriously. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Okay, just shut up. Shut up. You want to be a fan? You be a fan of one. I'm a traditionalist. I'm old-fashioned like that. When I get married, I want to be with one woman. I'm not going to go swing with some skanks and some dirty people. The fuck is that? What am I going to do with that? The fuck is that? I know there's a lot of yahoos out there doing that shit, saying it helps us. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because then when you have children, what do you think that's going to do? Anyways, not getting all socialistic here, but point is, my answer to that, and Sports Baby, you can do whatever you want. It's up to you. But you know where I stand on this. And as far as the Lakers are concerned, I want to be very clear on this. And then I'll get to some of your comments here, and I'll answer them as I go. I want you guys to understand that the Lakers are likely not going to win it this year. They will need help. It's very likely they will need help with an injury with some of the big teams, like it's gone on the last few years. I am not wishing anyone to be injured, but it would have to play out where somebody like Chet Holmgren, I use Chet Holmgren as an example because he has a history of injuries. If he got hurt and the Lakers made a run where they were able to beat the Spurs, that would open things up. But then you also have to deal with the Boston Celtics and possibly the Pistons. But I think this Cade Cunningham collapsed lung thing is not looking good. And I don't know if the Knicks are good enough to beat the Celtics. I don't know yet. And the Celtics would be a problem in the finals. So I don't know. But I want you guys to know, you have to appreciate what they've been doing, and it's the beginning of this. Even though LeBron is still here, it's Luka, it's Austin Reeves, hopefully. And it's the beginning of this next phase where this particular regime of ownership is going to, same ownership as the Dodgers, is going to start focusing on player development more, making sure that their due diligence is checked off in every way in who they draft and who they develop and who they acquire in the summer. The Lakers have 2 off seasons, in my view, to acquire at least 4 guys, and that could be a star for one of them, and then 3 other guys either through the draft or through free agency, to where they can put 5 guys on that court and at least 2 or 3 off the bench that enhance Luka Doncic's game and whomever the next star is with him. This is not a ready-made team for Luka. Not yet. I believe he'll get it in 2 seasons. And then at that point, he'll have a 4 or 5 year run where he can win 2 or 3 championships. It's going to be hard, though, because Wemby's going to be there. Shea's not going anywhere. Oklahoma City's not going anywhere unless somehow the Lakers steal Presti from Oklahoma City. That's where that is. Get to some of your guys' comments here. The people's eyebrow. Did I do that, Mark? I could do it on one. Don't worry, Pacers tanking. You can only have one team, I have been told. Yes, that is true. What about going for both? No, I don't believe in both. All right. How about this, Mark? You go ahead and cheer for Real Madrid and Barca. How about that? Didn't that just make your stomach churn? One team, not 2 teams. How before Skeens is a Dodger wasting away? Well, he'll be a free agent in 2029 unless he gets traded. Well, he could choose to be a free agent, regardless if he gets traded. And man, is that my guy. Paul Skeens is the guy. That's the guy. And his Smoking Hot Honey is going to be the new addition on this remake of Baywatch. So if that show is successful, he has a line to LA at that point. You can't do that show in New York. Just saying. Can't do that show in Texas. Can't do that show in Boston. I guess you could go to Miami, Tampa Bay. That ain't going to happen. So, Dodger fans, you have to hope and pray that Baywatch, the remake, succeeds. If it succeeds, it makes it easier. Now, they could break up, but they look like a happy couple. I don't know if they will. I think they look pretty happy. I don't know what they do, but they look happy. But if they're still together and she's doing that show and she becomes famous from it, yeah, there's an advantage there. So you guys got to hope and pray that Baywatch, the remake, is a success because it will make that decision a little bit more interesting to going out west. And remember, guys, he's from California anyway, so it's not like he's going somewhere foreign. I couldn't do it, but wouldn't object to others. Yeah, object to others isn't really the thing, but I'm just going to tell you that's not how it works, or at least that's how I feel it doesn't work. This is an Elite Lakers discussion. Thanks, Stefan. Appreciate it. Swingers suck. Yeah, I had a friend of mine tell me a story. I think I've told the story before, but not in detail. But I was having dinner at my cousin's joint here, not too far from where we live. He owns a restaurant here called Savage Chef. If you guys ever make it this way, my cousin makes the best food ever. So my buddy Ryan goes, I went to this sports bar, and he was in the restaurant business for years, so he's familiar with that world. Went into a sports bar, and he noticed that there wasn't a lot of pub about it, pardon the pun. And I guess this particular sports bar stayed open, I guess, a limited amount of days during the month. And he's there, and he ends up finding out that, yeah, they don't really open the other days because they have these get-togethers. Now, when he's telling me this story, I'm like, what were you doing there? And then he told me why, and I was like, oh, I was just fucking with you. Anyways, so he talks to the guy that runs the joint, and he goes, yeah, man, we get enough in revenue to just have these people come here, I think once or twice a month, and they do that little whatever the hell they do, and then they go and do whatever the hell they do when they leave. So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, you open up a sports bar that opens twice a month so that you can accommodate these freaks? Once you start doing 2, it's 3. Once you start doing 4, it's 4. It never ends. Cohen, pick a team. Otherwise, you'll be cheering for the Seahawks now because they won. No. I'm sticking with my Pacers. That's what I wanted to hear. That's the spirit. Where's my little applause thing? I swear that thing is short and then it's long sometimes. What the hell's the deal with this? How about this? Freaky. Where are we here? I'm rooting hard for us to play any team besides Denver. I don't think it matters, Stefan. I really don't think it matters. At this point, you're going to have to go through the gauntlet one way or the other. Denver's struggling. Looks like Jokic could ask out. I don't know where the hell you got that from, but that's probably not going to happen. However, if Luka and Jokic really want to play together, all Jokic has to do is wait. Don't sign the extension and go into free agency next year. That right there, folks, if that were to happen, if Jokic doesn't extend his contract, which is not going to happen, by the way, because I think he's getting the Supermax. Oh boy, you think it's exciting now? Wait till the noise starts as soon as the season ends next year. It's going to be. I bet you free agency would be completely back at that point, and then when you be talking about the champion of 2027, they'll be like, "Where's Jokic going? Uh-oh, is he going to go to LA?" And they'll be running that story for a month. Luka loves Denver. SPP. Don't stress. Love talking Lake Show, but the champs are trying to three-peat. It's kind of a big deal, guys. Yeah, I mean, it's that's why it's the Laker Dodger show. So I can go back and forth however we see fit. That's why answering the questions here kind of puts that in a much clearer area. Everybody gets their space. The Dodgers are just my only, I guess, issue at this point is what's happened this last week. The obsessive whining. My God, shut up. It's a back-to-back world champs. For the love of God, just watch the games and shut up. Can't play more than 26 guys, folks. This team is stacked. Stacked. From 1 to 9. Miggy Rojas, who's going to retire. He had an amazing spring training this year. If he starts at second, and he keeps hitting like he's hitting, man, you're toast. You got to deal with Ohtani after that, and then Tucker. If Tucker goes off, guys, check us up. Check this out. If Tucker goes off and has a MVP type season, and what I mean by that is, let's say he hits 35 home runs and drops 90, 100 RBIs and hits his splits even again. You know what the teams are going to have to do? This is crazy to think about. I can't guarantee this is going to happen, but it was a thought that I had. If Kyle Tucker is raking, you know what teams are going to have to do? They're going to have to risk the Ohtani solo home run. Yeah. Think about it. If they don't, that means Ohtani pitch counts are going to go up, and Ohtani has to go. If he gets to first and second, and then you have Kyle Tucker raking, that means it doesn't mean one run. It means it might start a rally. It might mean a home run for 2 runs. So they'd be willing to take the single and then start over. Just a thought. Ohtani might see pitches if Kyle Tucker is raking. As crazy as that sounds. Because the ninth hitter is definitely going to get a lot of pitches. And this is something for you numbskulls to also understand. I like him. I wish he was there. But there's not enough space. And you have some guys like Freeland and Espinal who is out of this game. Like, who knows? Maybe they can use him to get a better relief pitcher if Tanner Scott goes to shit, right? You got to play these guys. You can still put Kim in the minors and not have to lose him right now. So that's what they're doing there. Espinal, Rojas. Obviously, guys, Edmonds going to be coming back at some point. Let these guys do their thing. Let them make the decisions. They've earned it. And man, if that 9-hitter starts to get on base, it's over. The Dodgers are going to go on a couple of double-digit winning streaks if that happens. I know, but it's Strap. I'm telling you, I would rather play any other team in the first round. I want a little bit of revenge on Denver, to be honest with you. Let's see, getting a nightmare. We crushed the Rockets. Wolves, tough, but I believe we could win. But the Nugs are scaring me. Well, them winning today. Well, let's see where the standings are right now. Standings right now are where I thought it would be. Yeah, Nuggets. I think are going to finish fourth, guys. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think the Lakers are going to play Minnesota or Houston. I'm pretty sure of it. Joe is addicted to baseball. It's a beautiful thing to see. Thanks, man. I'm addicted to my teams, really, too. Baseball became much easier to be addicted to when you started being able to have conversations with people. I have not. I have baseball guys in my life, but not really. Like I'd say the one before I started doing podcasts was a good friend of mine, Tim, who's still my friend, but he's a Giants fan and he lives so far away. We would talk baseball, but it's not the same when you're not talking to like Dodger fans. I have plenty of Laker fans that I can converse with. Basketball's a little easier to talk about. It's probably why it's so toxic online because anybody can, talk or at least attempt to try to talk about that. Baseball's hard. If you don't really know the game well, you're going to sound stupid talking baseball. Football is real easy, of course. There's plenty of people out there that love football. And Steeler fans, I've been a part of a couple of forums that have been good conversation with many people from Pittsburgh all the way around to Costa Rica. Pittsburgh fans are everywhere. I had a little portable TV back in white that was, I don't know, maybe 21 inches. And I used to watch Baywatch on that thing. I understood the appeal of Baywatch, but I never, I never watched Baywatch. I watched certain episodes. I watched amazing bodies and women in that. I remember Yasmin Bleeth was on one of my mom's favorite, God rest her soul, one of her favorite soap operas. So I knew who she was. So when I saw her, I was like, oh, it's Yasmin Bleeth. But I never watched Baywatch. I mean, I still needed substance. My shows were Three's Company. It was the all-time favorite for me is Married with Children. As far as drama, growing up, I didn't really watch too much network drama. Yeah, I wasn't like tied into that until I think it was late 2003. I started getting into CSI. They had this, remember the Spike channel? I think it's Comedy Central now or something like that. Might not be Central. It might be Paramount, actually. I think it's Paramount. That's what it was. There was this binge. This is like 2-week binge on Spike where they were just showing nothing but the original CSI TV show episodes. And man, I got into it hard. Like I ended up watching all the episodes at some point. Bought the box sets. Really, really enjoyed that show. That was like the first network show I started watching, which of course everyone was like, well, I thought you liked The Sopranos. Because Sopranos started in 1999. I said, yeah. I actually came to the game on that one a little late. I came to that one 4 years later. And then after watching the last season, or at least part 1 of 6, that's when I went back and watched 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 and caught up. And then eventually they had the second half of season 6 and finished that one off. So yeah, I got into Sopranos late, and of course I've seen that 100 times. And then Entourage, not too far after that. Breaking Bad, obviously. Better Call Saul. I'd say my favorite TV show of all time, drama, would be The Sopranos, and then Breaking Bad is like 1A with Better Call Saul. I consider Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad the same show, so I don't really differentiate any of them. And then Entourage is the next one. So it's 1A, 1C. I really, really loved Entourage when it was doing its thing. I thought it was just fun to watch. Loved the Hollywood thing, and the storylines were funny. And I always loved Kevin Dillon from growing up, from Platoon, and one of my favorite horror movies, The Blob. So it's kind of funny looking at him from what I knew him before, because I hadn't seen him in years until Entourage. I was like, whatever happened to Kevin Dillon? I always saw his brother. But it was nice seeing him resurrect his career because he deserved it. And he became an iconic character too, to boot. Let's see, Joe. Can you provide any insight on what makes a good NBA scout? Are there any good examples out there? Wow. So we had a good man that was on our shows regularly, and he's since sort of retired a little bit. Stone Hansen. He was an observer of basketball for 2 years. He watched countless hours of tape, all kind of tape, international games, NBA. Obviously knows the game upside down, inside out. Used to have a show where he would talk about the draft and what guy should go where. It's basically like the Mel Kiper of our little crew for basketball. And the scout part is, if I'm going to base it off the greatest scout I ever knew, was Jerry West, is there's an instinct that a scout will have on a player. And a lot of it also is, what kind of personality is that player going to be? Because most of these guys are all amazing athletes, but will they be that guy that you really want? And it doesn't have to be a superstar. It could be somebody like Sam Presti trying to fill in the gaps for his current team. He already has Shea and Chet and Jalen Williams. He might need somebody like a Caruso, right? Right. And while he didn't scout him technically, he was already an established star. But maybe you see something, let's say what the Lakers saw in him and what they saw in Austin Reeves. They're like, hey man, we see these guys, they have talent. It just needs to be harnessed a little bit. They obviously are showing signs of uh, basketball IQ at a much higher level than normal for being a rookie or a young player. And then you let them develop, and they're humble enough to play in the G League for a little bit and get better at dribbling, get better at shooting, get better at understanding the NBA life and the NBA rigors of a hard 82 game season. And then as that progresses, then you start to see that your instincts were good there, and then you apply that to the next thing. And you're not going to always be right, Carino. Jerry West drafted a kid. I always use this as an example. In 1998, Sam Jacobson in the first round. And you're probably saying, who? Exactly. So you don't get them all right, but you got to get enough to where you can maintain a winning team. And usually the big ones, the big stars, there's not really a lot of scouting you need for the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks, right? I mean, when Magic Johnson was picked in 1980, it really wasn't that difficult. I know that they've had TV shows and all that they might have been Sidney Moncrief or whatever. We don't really know that. I don't think anybody was going to go beyond Magic at that point. Hakeem Olajuwon was going to go one, even though Michael Jordan was the best player on the planet at that time. It's just you. It's easy when it's easy. The hard ones is, can you find the Byron Scotts, the Michael Coopers that put together your team, right? Can you find the Derek Fishers in the early 20s from Little Rock, Arkansas, that ends up being one of the most clutch players in NBA history and a pillar for your team for 5 championships, right? Caruso obviously being one of those guys, Austin Reeves being one of those guys. So recognizing those glue guys, the X factors, I'd say that's where your talent with scouting is. And I'd say the next big one is, can you convince the big talent to come to you when you have the availability for it? So Jerry West bringing Shaq to LA, Magic bringing LeBron to LA. Is that considered scouting? I mean, not the direct term, but being able to bridge that, should I go here or should I go here? Can you create that bridge that brings it to your guy? That's the key. Jerry West used to say, "You never lie to a player," and I believe in the end, because he was truthful and when he had the resources, he understood that. That's why people trusted him. And it's of course it's the Lakers. They had lineage. They had a great owner. So why wouldn't you do it? Used to watch it with box tissues, but no tears, brother. Let's see. Where does Freddie rank in playoff history as best clutch lefty hitter behind Ortiz? Ortiz is pretty damn clutch. I don't think I could pick one or the other. I know in my modern day, I'm trying to think besides Ortiz, who else was clutch and is a lefty? I think those are the two. I think Otani will have a space there too at some point. Ortiz won 3 championships. Freddie's won 3. And he was an integral part of every single one of those titles that he won. He had game-winning home runs in both playoff run, all 3 playoff runs in those runs. To say who is the most clutch, best clutch lefty, I'd say if Freddie Freeman has another walk-off in any playoff game for the next 4 years, I think he might be a hair ahead of Ortiz at that point. Just from accomplishments. That's it. And there's really no argument. Like if you came to me and said, no, Ortiz never played behind Otani and Mookie Betts and all that. All right, well, I could retort and, well, who was he playing behind in Atlanta? I mean, he was doing it in Atlanta. Just he didn't do it in the World Series. He did it in the NLCS, in the NLCS against Josh Hader, who was the baddest closer in the game at that time. Right, took him out, absolutely destroyed him in an opposite field home run, destroyed his life, destroyed that whole team that he was playing for. So, yeah, I don't think there's a real clear answer, but for me, if Freddie Freeman has another spectacular end of the game clutch home run, and it may not even need to be a home run. What if he hits a double to the gap to win a World Series or a series in general, an NLCS or NLDS? Yeah, I don't think there's much to do anymore at that point. I think you got to give it to him. Bernie was good, very underrated. I never saw Miami. I think I got CSI'd out a little bit after the first one. I believe he was. Yes, I believe he was. Let's see. Bernie Williams switch was an elite switch hitter. The thing is, it's the thing with Ortiz and Freddie Freeman is they had clutch, iconic home runs in the playoffs. There's not and I know he's done well, but I don't have a memory of Bernie Williams hitting a home run that changed everything. He might have, but I don't remember. Might be one of those little lapses in my head at this point. Clutch player, though. That whole team was clutch. Tino Martinez, Scott Brocious, Bernie Williams, Posada. Even if you're not hitting when you're supposed to and getting the winning run, that whole team, man. I mean, that team won 4 championships in 5 years. And I mean, they were a hair away from having a 4-peat. I'm a former Yankee fan, recently converted to the Dodgers. Really? Oof, I haven't heard that in a long time. Because of my wife's family in SoCal, but back in the day, Bernie was my guy, former all-time leader in postseason home runs. Yeah, he hit a lot of home runs. There was a lot of activity in New York because those guys were in the game. They were in the playoffs every year. I just don't remember a signature home run. Might be might be. I gotta look at that. I gotta look into that. Yeah, Scott Brocious has a home run in 2001. That's memorable. Derek Jeter, obviously. Jim Leyritz is probably the one that I remember the most. I think that one in '96 was the one that catapulted their run. They actually probably should have lost that series. They were down 6-3 in game 3 and they were 0-2. Atlanta had them up to 2-0. And I think it was Mark Walters that was pitching. I think it was the 8th inning, and then Jim Leyritz hit that 3-run homer to tie it, and then they ended up winning in extra innings, I think. Woo-wee! They get to that third one, man. Atlanta wins in '96. Who knows what changes? Atlanta wins back to back too, by the way, if they win that series. I I felt bad for Atlanta at that point, but I was happy for Joe Torre. I mean, man, when he was starting to cry, and they had a story with him and his brother. His brother was sick at the time too. Guys from Brooklyn and coming to New York, winning a possible championship at that time as a New Yorker. I thought, and Joe Torre is just class all the way. And uh, when he was younger too, he had a little bit of fire too. So it's kind of cool when you see Brooklyn come out, but you hardly saw it when he came to New York. Coincidentally, you always saw him cool and collected, and that helped. That helped, him dealing with the boss at that time, always being critical and wanting things a certain way. And he was kind of the mild mannered guy that always kind of kept it at bay and allowed his team to be focused on what they needed to do. Yeah, the steroid thing, I don't really have. I the thing that hurt me is when they traded Piazza, when the Dodgers traded Piazza. But I've recently learned from my good friend Empire Jeff that Mike Piazza was not a good dude. I didn't know that. He'd make fun of kids signing autographs because they didn't know how to speak English. That one's weird. That one, I want to ask Mike that question. Like, did this really happen? I'm not that I don't believe Jeff. I mean, Jeff wouldn't lie about something like that, but it's hard for me to believe maybe that happened. Was there something going on? Maybe somebody misconstrued something. I don't know. But then he told me that a lot of the guys had to come and clean up a lot of his mess. Ramon Martinez would stay a little longer to sign autographs. Even Pedro when he was still in LA. And that's how he was, man. That kind of maybe makes the trade less hurtful because that was like my last favorite player in sports. It was Magic and Mike Piazza. Those are my guys. And after that, once I got older, I didn't really have a favorite guy. I just stuck with my teams. 2021, I watched the Dodgers win the World Series with my father-in-law right before he passed away. I've slowly been getting back into it. 2020 was special. I knew there'd be a problem with the 60-game season, but everybody played with the same rules, and the Dodgers always had good regular seasons, and they had to play 4 rounds to win the championship. So, no home field advantage, none of that. Well, if your team had won, I guarantee you'd say it was real. So I don't really give a shit what anybody thinks about that. It's a title. The record books say it. And nothing you can say about it. The Dodgers have won three championships in 6 years. 3. Don't forget about 2020. Don't forget about 2020. If you will forget, there's a nice picture of Kike Hernandez giving everybody I don't know about the thumbs, one of the fingers, a number 1 with the ring on it. Send them that picture. Everybody will know what it is when they see it. Ortiz went yard against the greatest closer of all time, down 3 in the series with the game on the line. Was Ortiz on the Belco list? He was. He was. I heard rumblings that even Albert Pujols might have used something, but there's nothing there. I heard Mike Piazza was on them. I think I even remember distinctively somebody saying about how Mike Piazza had back acne. They They noticed in the locker room. One of the side effects of steroids. So, and I think Ricky Henderson, before he died, had mentioned, and even Jose Canseco had mentioned that there were guys in the Hall of Fame that were using. Carlos Beltran just got in, and I know he went in as a player, but I don't know. It sounds like a double standard. This guy helped the Houston Astros cheat in 2017 and got rewarded going to the Hall of Fame, and Barry Bonds is still sitting there doing nothing. Just saying it's not semantics, dude. It's cheating, and you're allowing one cheater to get in and the other cheater because he did it a different way. It sounds stupid to me. Yeah, it's starting to become clear that Mike Piazza did not like giving autographs. But then so did Bill Russell. So why is Mike Piazza getting shit for it? However, Jeff told me that he was making fun of kids that didn't speak English. That part, if that's true, that's a douchebag thing. If you don't want to sign autographs as a celebrity, I don't have anything against that. I don't think you owe anybody anything. It's kind of weird, though, if you're a baseball player. Kids look up to, in my view, the kids always looked up to the baseball players first in sports than they did football players, because more often than not, that's the first thing they would see. Basketball wasn't as relatable for the young kids. Baseball is. Baseball is something that's homegrown American in America, right? Basketball, even though it was a American game for the longest time, it wasn't as relatable as baseball at the time when I was growing up. So, I don't know. If I was Mike's agent or whatever, I'm like, dude, just sign the damn autographs, dude. Is it really going to kill you if you sign autographs for 30 minutes? These guys are paying your salary. They're buying tickets. Use every card you sign, every bat you sign, every autograph you put down is a potential customer for your brand. That's how I would have put it. Wow, you didn't know that, Chris? He died like 2 years ago. Year and some change ago, maybe at the very least. Hold on. Ricky Henderson. He died December 20th, 2024. Bummer. He died of pneumonia, asthma. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You put a cheater in, but then you say, well, this guy cheated. So what now? Well, he cheated because he was playing the game. Dude, cheating is cheating. Anyways, I want to thank you all for being here tonight on my little impromptu LA edition of The Experiment. I always have a great time with a lot of you guys. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate your support on here, on the Lakers Fast Break, and everything that we do. I will continue to do the show in spurts, but as baseball continues to progress and obviously the playoffs for the Lakers, there'll probably be a little bit more activity in here, and I'll let you guys know how that plays out. But again, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, you guys can hit me up on The Experiment on all my social media areas on X and Instagram. And if you want to contact me on Facebook, I'm known as Johnny Blade. So until then, I want you all to have a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And until next time,